The main entrance into getting to your Calculate Datasets window is to use the analysis screen. In the lower right-hand corner, right below the Make Graph icon, there is a Compute New Dataset. Clicking on that opens up the Compute Dataset screen. And you'll see over on the right, you can drill down each one of these menus to see all the different functions that you can work with within the Compute Datasets. On the far left, you can select the site you want to work with. All your sites are listed here, and just by simply clicking on one, it'll show all of its datasets. I'm going to give some examples of a couple of the datasets calculations. A common one is INI. To do INI, you need two pieces of information. You need your dry weather flow week, and then you need your raw flow rate data, so you can subtract the dry weather flow out of the rain event when the flow rate has the rain event occur. Subtracting that dry weather out of it, whatever's left over is your infiltration. So to start with, I need to provide a 1 week of dry weather. So I'm going to grab the dry flow and drop it in the center of the screen. And it simply just asks, where is the raw flow rate data at? And I'm going to drag that over in here, drop it. And then finally, it just wants to know, where is your dry weather week? Now, if you know the dry weather week, that's by going to analysis, looking at the graph, finding your dry weather week. You can simply type it in here with the calendar and be done. If you're not sure what your dry weather week is, you can open up this. This will open up a graph of all of the data from that site. And here I can see I got a pretty good standing run of dry weather. Got some storm events here that we'll be working with. But for right now, I'm going to go ahead and click and drag over enough. And you can see the date above where it's showing the time range. I'm going to go out a little bit here. I'm going to let go. And you can see it automatically dragged and dropped in a week for me by having this checkbox. So I have my 1 week selected. I'm going to hit set date. And now I have my dry weather date selected. I'm going to give this data set a name. I'm going to go ahead and call this my Elba Avenue dry weather. You can choose to preview that if you'd like. I'm going to go ahead and just create it. I know that's good date because I saw it on the graph. And you can see now under computer datasets, I have my Alba Avenue dry weather dataset. The next step is to go ahead and make the INI. So I'm going to go ahead and delete that. I'm going to grab my INI function, drag it to the center and drop it. And it wants to know, where is the raw flow rate data? That's right here. Where's my dry flow? I calculated that down here. And then I want to give it an output name. This is going to be my INI, so I'm going to call this Elba Avenue I and create. And that's it. I now have a dry weather with an INI. When I go to make a graph now, and I go to Alba Avenue, you can see I have these data sets. I can simply go ahead, if I want, I could grab my flow rate data by clicking on it. I'm going to drag my INI over on top of it. And there's the difference. I'm going to go up here to properties, change the colors so they're not exactly the same. So you can see I have my teal is my INI. I can zoom out. Now I have a lot more instruction under the analysis videos. So if you want more information on how to make a graph like this, go ahead and watch that video. Otherwise, this is just a quick rendition of how to get the INI graphed. I could even go and grab my rain information from my rain gauge site. I'm going to drag rainfall into there as well. And as you can see now, I have some rainfall data along with my flow information, my raw flow, and my INI. I can save this graph by giving it a name. And now the graph is created. From here, I can go back to analysis and I can find that listed in my Alba INI graph right there. Okay, to continue on with more data sets, going to the lower right hand corner, I go to make another data set option. And here, you could do a mathematical expression. As an example, let's say I wanted to add two sites flow rates together. So I got Apple Tree and Buck Road. I'm going to do a math expression, drag that to the center. I want to go ahead and add the flow rate from Apple Tree here with the plus. Now I can change this. I can subtract one from the other. I can do multiplication, divide, do the power of. In this case, I'm doing a simple addition. I'm taking two pipes. I'm going to get a combination of those two pipes. So I'm going to call this apple and buck combo flow rate. I'm doing a 15-minute interval. That's based on what these guys are reading at there at 15 minutes. I could make that longer, but I can't make it shorter than what they're already reading. Otherwise, I'll just have redundant readings. But nonetheless, I'm going to go ahead and set create. Now, what it will do, because it's creating a data set for two different sites, Appletree and Buck Road, it's going to add that data set to both sites. So under Appletree, I have an Appletree Buck Road combo. And now under Buck Road, I have an Appletree Buck Road combo. So it knows that it used two different sites. If I wanted to add a third site, I could hit this plus button here, and we'll add another term. And so you can just keep adding and adding and adding. You can maybe take these two and then subtract another, or divide by 2 to give you an average. So there are a number of options here you can do with the mathematical expression. But at the end of the day, now that those are created, they will also be under those site names when I go to make a graph. And there's the combination. I can click on that, and now I have my Appletree and Buck Road combo flow. That should get you a good start on the how to use the compute data sets. I'm not going to show every single one of these. If you do need more assistance, obviously, please feel free to call our technical support group at 1-800-228-4373, and instead of hitting #4 to resubscribe, hit #1, and that'll get you to to technical service, and we can assist you if you need more help with your data sets.